Hello and welcome to another edition of After the Whistle. There's a lot going on across from me,
Why do you
so
always...
I don't know what this. They got issues. They got beef over there across the table. We got, I don't know what's going on with the headphones, but we about to get this show cracking. Super Bowl. I think we all picked the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl. I
actually didn't 49ers.
Oh well,
if you recall, but it didn't happen to me.
Well. So much for that. All right. Yeah, so we're going to get right into it. Super Bowl 54. The Kansas City Chiefs are the new champions of the NFL. And this was an interesting game. Very, very interesting game on a lot of parts.
Definitely, man. Before I say anything about the game, I just want to congratulate Cuz Felton Davis III on injured reserve. He got his ring with the Chiefs. Congrats. But about the game.
Don't pawn it either. Keep that ring.
Oh, he better not pawn that thing. We ring collectors in this family over here. Now, with that being said, Mahomes, he didn't play the best game, but the game was like a championship game.
Right.
To be honest with you, defensive game.
And the fact alone that he's the third African American to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, and he's crazy. I think he's the youngest
right.
joining Brady and Roethlisberger as the youngest. And this game was,
and that says a lot about him, of him being a player in this league and how much he's only 24 years old.
Yeah.
Like what? Are you kidding me?
Someone said Patrick Mahomes is what Andrew Luck was projected to be.
Right.
And I was like, that's pretty accurate. That is pretty accurate with all the hype Andrew Luck had coming in. But through this game, San Francisco, they're going to look at themselves and be like, woo. But throughout the game, it was a little back and forth. The first quarter, it was kind of each team was filling each other out. I mean, we were tied 10-10 at one point, and then San Francisco, they got it going with the creative plays, running the ball, and the Chiefs had issues stopping them when they decided to run the ball.
Mm-hmm. That's been the issue with the Chiefs all season on the run game, and we knew the 49ers were gonna do their best to run the ball, but Jimmy G he threw the ball too much, and they should have ran the ball more, especially when they were averaging 6.4 yards a carry on the ground.
Yeah, I think so the Niners, I'm going to look at the Niners, and this is my thing with the Niners. You were put in prime position to do what you do best in the fourth quarter, and that's bleed the clock, wear them down. Jimmy G had already done what you guys needed him to do. Granted, he threw that first interception. He had his eyes closed on that. That's a Jay Cutler type interception right there. But he bounced back from that, led them on some scoring drives, got them the lead. That's it. He did what he was supposed to do. Now, as the play caller, this is what you do. Hand the ball off to them running backs. That's it. And you're going to win this game. And even when the Chiefs were making that comeback, San Francisco got the ball back, and they still, the first play they ran in, it was, they got 5-6 yards, and they were making positive yards on the run game. I just don't get their whole
right. And Mahomes had 11 passing touchdowns with no interceptions to begin the start of the Super Bowl.
And one thing I noticed in the Super Bowl, they try to put everything on the QB. Like even the Seahawks, you should have gave that to beast mode. And same thing with this. You knew your run game was the part of your game that got you the most. Mm-hmm. To be brutally honest, couldn't word that correctly, but anyways. So I don't understand why all these coaches in big-time games go against what gets them to this game.
And you know what this Super Bowl reminded me of? The 2014 Super Bowl between the Patriots and the Seahawks, because it kind of was going the same way, because San Francisco made Mahomes look human. They were making him look human. He was getting rattled. Two interceptions in the second half. That second interception, it seemed like, okay, this is about to, they're about to score again and put this game away. And they didn't capitalize, and it was just. And then here comes the Chiefs. You gave them a little life. You gave them breathing room, just like Seattle did with the Patriots. They couldn't capitalize, and they gave them a breathing room. Patriots made that comeback down 10, and then
they didn't even see it coming.
Yeah, it's so similar to that game. But the key play in this game was the 3rd and 15.
I was actually going to talk about that, because Kansas City actually completed 2 out of 3 fourth downs, which continued the series. and going 6 for 14 and third down compared to 49ers 3 for 8. And they had 21 more plays. Yeah. You really aren't going to win if a team got 21 more plays than you. That's like more shots at the basket than another team.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah, and also surprising, the Chiefs went for it fourth down a couple times. I think their first touchdown drive, I think they went for it fourth down twice. It was like 4th and 1 and 4th and 2, and they went one on the goal line, which then would get the touchdown in. I don't think the 49ers went for fourth down. They only went for it when they needed to, but they didn't, make that big, let's go for it, really put our foot on them. And it seemed like, and Andy Reid is the guy that's known for not going for it on fourth down, and Shanahan's the aggressive coach that would go for it on fourth down, and it was just like,
They're playing chess out there.
Yeah.
That's what it really was.
But yeah, the 49ers are going to look at this. They lost all the opportunities they had. It was, and if you saw throughout the game, their defensive line was getting to Mahomes. They were getting him. He was feeling it. He started seeing ghosts a little bit. He was starting to see ghosts. He was seeing ghosts. You could tell on that second interception, Tyreek Hill was open, but he threw it behind him, and it was just because they weren't sacking him, but they were getting to him. Every time he threw the ball, he'd get hit, or there'd be someone in his face, and I know they're probably kicking themselves in the foot right now.
Yeah, I mean, towards the end, you could just see it all over their face. There was a moment that they just knew we're not winning. Yeah,
and also we gotta, people talked about Richard Sherman a lot, and are the Chiefs gonna go after him? And we talked about the speed, the Chiefs' speed, and I wouldn't be surprised if they did. And there were 2 occasions. The big play to Sammy Watkins, I think Sherman guessed that. He guessed wrong pretty much, and then he got caught. And those guys, if you guess wrong, you're gonna get beat. And that was a big play down the stretch for them to get that lead, to get that lead.
Yeah, definitely, man. Just bad decision on his part.
Yeah, definitely. Let's talk about Mahomes, Super Bowl MVP. We're watching the game and we're just like, yo, this guy. All right, this is the first terrible game that he's played as a professional. I mean, 2 years as a starter, and this is probably his worst game as a professional. And then boom, just like that, they go on a 21-0 run in the fourth quarter.
That's what we talked about when we talked about the formulas for the Chiefs to win. For the 49ers to win, they couldn't allow the Chiefs to get on the run, get on the roll, and it happened at the end of the game.
And you got to look at it, they ran more. They did more running than San Francisco, and you got to give a lot of credit to Damian Williams and also Mahomes too, because I think him was at least, I don't know, I seen him scramble a lot.
No, definitely.
For the first down. It was that one that he took that big hit, and the ball went backwards, lost the first down, and they went for it on fourth
And
down.
Mahomes, he agreed to that in the beginning of the game that he wasn't doing his best. Like, he said that since we were down by 10 or whatever, we knew that we weren't playing our best of our ability and for the football for our game. Yeah. And he knew, at least he took ownership of that.
Yeah. It was just surprising to somebody. Well, not surprising because this happens a lot, but this was the first time that somebody made him look human. A defense made him look human. And we say all the time, a quarterback's worst nightmare is a defensive front that could get to you without a blitz. And, Bosa was just, every time Bosa was near him, even if he didn't put his hands out, he was near him, and I think you saw in some of those passes that he was off. It was just due to the pressure, and then San Francisco at some points they did a good job just keeping him in the pocket. That's what happened with those 2 interceptions. But when he got out the pocket and they lost contain, it was ooh.
Yeah, but I also think that he had a championship performance. Yeah, because in championship games you're not gonna
do your best,
play your best at all. So for him to go 26-42, 286, and 2 touchdowns, granted 2 in total, just something rare that we ever see Mahomes do, but yeah, he battled back and did well. Yeah,
someone likened it to basketball when a great shooter's having a rough night and they see that first basket goes in and then it's over from there. That was it. He got that deep ball to Sammy Watkins and they got that touchdown to Kelsey and it was like everything started rolling. And the 49ers didn't help either because they just didn't give their defense a chance to have at least a sip of Gatorade or nothing. They were on that. They were on. It's like they get the start. They're on the field, right back. They go right back on the field. But yeah, this was good. Now, I think Mahomes is just. Remember when LeBron did that went crazy against Detroit. I think his third year over there, when he had like 41 and he scored like 20 or 30 something straight points. Yeah, he went nuts, and everybody was just like, oh, it's his league now, pretty much. Kind of seeing the wave of Mahomes. This is turning into Mahomes' league because Brady's on his way out. Roethlisberger's on his way out. Lamar Jackson's still learning. And, I mean, what other quarterbacks do we see in the AFC that can really,
Don't.
Yeah, so it's, the Chiefs, if they could, because I think that a lot of guys are under contract right now, and I think they're going to return a lot of the guys. So if these guys could keep this together, we might see a new dynasty in the NFL. We might. I'm not certain it'll happen because sometimes we get this dynasty talk and then it just, they get one and that's it. But the way this team is built, it looks like they might.
I mean, all you need to keep is Mahomes and Reed.
He's due for a big contract too.
So, as long as they keep those two. Tight ends come around.
Yeah, tight ends come and go. Plus, Kelsey, he's been around since 2013. Actually, him and Eric Fisher, they were the first draft picks for Andy Reid when he got there. Speaking of Andy Reid, I think a lot of people were happy for Andy Reid. We saw there was a lot of tweets from his former players that were really happy for him. Some guys that worked for him in the front office that were really happy for him because it was like 22 years it took him. I know. And it took him like 15, 16 years to get back to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like his life's been on display too. So like all the bad things about what he went through with his life with his son and all that. So like I'm just happy for him just because like he's an upstanding guy for how he comes off, and he deserves it. Like he's been busting his butt. He's a great coach. You don't hear anything crazy about him in the media or anything. So I think. And
he set a record. This was his 222nd game that he won. He bust. He showed his work ethic and. He set the record of this is the most wins for an NFL coach before that championship game.
Yeah, I think he's like in top 10 in wins and playoff appearances and all that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, back to you on nobody ever saying a bad thing. I think somebody pointed this out. Have you ever heard Terrell Owens say anything bad about him? No. And you know how that ended. So kudos to Andy Reid. He definitely did a great coaching job with adjusting because I think in the first half when San Francisco was getting to the 49ers, they did a good job of San Francisco was getting to the Chiefs. Like they did a good job of getting Mahomes away from the pressure, and they did a lot more getting him out the pocket just so he could avoid the pressure that was coming up the middle. And this was a great coaching execution. And the offensive coordinator Eric, I can't pronounce his last name. Eric B. His last name starts with a B, so I'm calling him Eric B. He put together some good plays too. I think their first touchdown, he got it from a 1946 Rose Bowl game. See Michigan
doing his research,
right? Yeah, they showed the play too. It was like.
And that's what you need to do, especially when you go into these high competitive games. You have to look at what already has been done and what worked.
Yeah, it's the last game of the season too. So I mean, you got enough time to rest. So you got till before April or May until you have to start with the off-season training again. So I mean, yeah, y'all be fine with all that. So Andy Reid, first ring. Kudos to him. And let's talk about let's talk about San Francisco before we get to Kyle Shanahan and their collapse. My goodness. Yeah. I didn't get what was going on with San Francisco in that fourth quarter. I just didn't get it. It was the play calling was just baffling to me. Very baffling.
I think the moment was just a little too big for him. For him to be like the head. He's been other coaches and stuff, but for him to be the head in that moment and you're going against Andy Reid, who's the second best NFL coach around.
Yeah, time was ticking, and it showed how he handled that.
You would think he would have learned from 28-3. You would think he would have learned from that. You got a 10-point lead. Run the football. It's not that complicated. Because if you look at it, they had one play. They had a run. They went for 5 yards, got a first down. Then they had a play action, got another first down. And then that's when you think you should start running it. We're just going to run it. If you can't stop it, we're going to keep doing it. And then they pass. I
mean, we live in the world of the quarterback now. We were younger, running backs were big, quarterbacks, wide receivers. Now it's just legit, like, but basically quarterbacks. So they try to put their prized possession in the front street to try to win the game, and it doesn't work.
Yeah, it hardly ever works, and it's more confusing because it's like you didn't need to put it in the quarterback's hands. The quarterback already did what he needed to do. He got you guys a 10-point lead. You know, he had not turned the ball over since that first turnover, and he didn't need to do any more than what he did. All you gotta do is have him hand off. Because I think before he had 22 pass attempts, right there. That's enough for him. Anything over 25, you know what I say about certain quarterbacks. Yeah, anything over 25 attempts is you're just asking for a disaster, and I don't know.
Especially when it's not normal for him to throw over 30 times. The past 2 games, he was a combined, how many passes he threw?
Like 12, 15, I think.
So you're going to give him 16 more passes? Like, this makes no sense, like, at all.
Yeah, it was confusing. And even, there was also that time in the first half, they had stopped Kansas City. There was about a minute and some change left, a minute 30, a minute 40 left. And, you know, you look at the press box, you see John Lynch saying, timeout, 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 call the timeout. They let a whole lot of time go by. And they never called the timeout. And then they get a big play. And then they finally call a timeout. There was like 30 seconds or 20 seconds left. Then they get another big play, but it gets called back with a questionable pass. I mean, by the letter of the law, that was pass interference, but I don't think I would have, if I was the ref in that situation, I would not have called that pass interference.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta let some things go.
Yeah, but Kittle also didn't need to do that. He didn't need to put his arm on it, but still, that was definitely a little questionable. But yeah, there was a lot of coaching errors in that because they could have took advantage and have a bigger lead going into the half, and they got the ball. They were receiving the ball back too, so I didn't get why. I mean, you got 3 timeouts, use them.
Moments too big, lack of experience.
Yeah,
that's, you know what I mean, at that level. Yeah. So it's all right. He'll get back there one day.
One day.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know. Maybe we'll see. I don't know, but yeah. So congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs. Shout out to those people that bet the over or the under. If you bet over 50, kudos to you. There's some people upset at Patrick Mahomes for the rushing yards because when he took the kneel, he kind of he went from 44 rushing yards to 29, and I know that kind of messed up some people's bets. So sucks for y'all. Don't gamble.
Lesson learned.
All right, we got some other NFL news. All right, Tom Brady's future. Actually, before we get to Tom Brady's future, let's talk about the NFL Hall of Fame class of 2020. Got 5 inductions. Isaac Bruce, Edgerrin James, Steve Hutchinson, I think that's his name, Steve Hutchinson, Steve Atwater, hard-hitting safety, you know. Did I say Isaac Bruce already?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, whatever. But, yeah, Troy Polamalu. It's a good class, though.
It is.
That's a pretty... Troy Polamalu got it first ballot. Zach Thomas, I never liked him because he had short arms.
Are you kidding me?
I was never a big fan of Zach Thomas. He was a quality player, but other guys I went to elementary school, they love Zach Thomas.
I don't get the Zach Thomas hype. I don't think he was that. I don't think he was a Hall of Fame. I don't think he was a Hall of Famer. Maybe he was a Dolphins Ring of Honor.
I could see it.
But he wasn't no Hall of Famer.
What about Mr. Matthews, huh?
I mean, that whole family should be in the Hall of Fame. That whole family's like in the Hall of Fame. Goodness gracious. But Isaac Bruce, it took Isaac Bruce a little while to get into it. And I think he's one of 5 players with, I think, 10,000 or 15,000 receptions and 15,000 yards.
For what I watched growing up and what I heard, he never wanted to take a hit.
I mean, you see him?
Catch it and drop.
Hey, Isaac Bruce like $190, man. He was playing in that era with Steve Atwater's headhunt himself. So yeah, that's smart.
What about my guy though?
Yeah, Edgerrin James.
Edgerrin James, up to you, baby.
Edgerrin James. He was probably one of my favorite running backs for some reason. I don't know why I liked him, but I did.
Yeah, gold teeth.
Yeah, gold teeth.
He's a real one.
He was in the Trick Daddy music video. It was all that, but yeah, Zach Thomas though, little arms, yo. I don't like people with little arms.
No.
He had them T-Rex
Tell
arms.
me.
I don't think he was that. I don't know. I don't know.
Either way.
I don't know.
Well deserved.
Steve Hutchinson. I don't get how they do it with the offensive linemen though.
I don't know how to do with any of them.
Well,
with
like
you.
certain defensive players you could,
Yeah.
but offensive linemen is like, okay, how do you?
Maybe it's due to how many times the quarterback got sacked, due to how many years you were playing there.
Maybe.
I mean, how else you gonna do it?
I don't know. Okay, also some awards too. I forgot to put this in the rundown, but there were Lamar Jackson became the youngest player to win league MVP.
And I loved how social media, they took when he basically got drafted, that moment when he was sitting with his mom, didn't know if he was going to get his name being called. And now to see this.
And there were some people that was trying to tell me that Baker Mayfield's a better quarterback than him. I ain't going to call him out, but he was on drugs. But back-to-back years, we've had back-to-back years, we've had first-year quarterbacks win the MVP with Mahomes last year and now Lamar Jackson. And they didn't play their first year. Well, Lamar Jackson, he started like halfway through the first season. He took over, and Mahomes, I think he played only one game his rookie year. Mm-hmm. I think it was the last game of the season he played. So it's a lot. Sitting these first-round picks down doesn't hurt, especially when you got guys in front of them that are Joe Flacco. But Alex Smith was a professional, so it was good to learn under him.
But it's like coming off the bench.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You could see what worked and what didn't work and how you could affect the game, improve and do a better job when you get out there, and then he went out there and produced.
Yeah, he definitely did. And they put the system in for him.
One thing I noticed on social media, they talked about, what was his name, Kyle Murray too?
Kyler Murray, the Offensive Rookie of the Year.
And it's talking about Black History Month, and people aren't really talking about this.
Yeah.
Oh, happy Black History Month.
We got a black quarterback win MVP, a black quarterback Offensive Rookie of the Year,
Making progress.
black wide receiver won Offensive Player of the Year in the NFC, black quarterback,
It's
and
looking
a
pretty good.
black assistant coach.
And the crazy thing about it is, years ago, they was talking about black players really couldn't be quarterbacks or be
Yeah.
as effective in that position.
Yeah, it's a new league now. It's definitely a new league. But congratulations to all those players that won all the awards at the NFL Honors on this past Saturday, especially Lamar Jackson, because we all rooting for him. Baker Mayfield could kick rocks. Yeah, I said it. All right. Tom Brady's future. People were going crazy over Tom Brady's Instagram post last week. It was a black and white, him walking in the tunnel. And, we live in this era where people want to overreact and have emotional reactions.
Well, it was going based off of, I don't know if you saw the Hulu commercial.
Yeah.
Right. And he's walking into the stadium saying to my friends, my colleagues, my co-players, my family, and saying how much I love this game. And then he switches the script and says about Hulu.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
Yeah, he's
you
playing.
staying or you leaving?
No, he's playing with her. He hears the talk about everybody trying to retire him. He hears all the critics, and that was a good way. I liked it.
Right.
Messing with people. People were going crazy. People were trying to.
I think it's safe to say that we definitely know that he's going to be playing this year. It's just more, is he going to be playing with the Patriots?
Well, from what I've been seeing, the Raiders are interested. They're going to Vegas, so Vegas they need something. All the rumors are the Patriots are going to offer him $30 million a year. I don't know no normal person who would offer a soon-to-be 43-year-old $30 million.
It's the name recognition, man.
Right? Yeah, right. I mean, football is a young man's game, so I don't know. Free agency is going to be interesting for Brady. This is his first year actually exploring it. I mean, you're 43. Your options are so limited just because you need to win now. But at the end, he's going to be a Patriot again, and everybody's just going to look stupid about all their speculations.
Man, why is this even a story?
Because
they got better things in the NFL going on. Instead of worrying about some 42-year-old guy where he's going to play next year. Like, you've been in the league mad long. Stop doing this, bro. Pick your squad and get on your team, man. Like, come on. How much more time are you gonna use up of our life?
Well,
like,
I mean,
come on, though.
I think it's all.
free agency is March 18th, so
Yeah, but it's like, who cares, bro? He's on his way out anyways. You got 2 more years
Maybe
to
that's
watch
what's
him.
part of his, giving him more publicity. That's why he's doing
Man, please, bro. People lose their mind for what? He still has to get a line too if he switches teams.
They need to make those headlines for people to watch.
it. Right.
Got to get those ratings. All right, last NFL news. The Atlanta Falcons, they said they're not going to re-sign linebacker Vic Beasley Jr. to a new deal. Interesting. I mean, this guy, coming out of Clemson, there was a lot of hype around him. I personally don't think he lived up to the hype. I mean, granted, he had 8 sacks last season in the linebacker spot, but maybe it's because he was in Atlanta and, nobody really cares about Atlanta. And it's the team that blew a 28-3 lead. So I think anybody on the Atlanta roster that was part of that team, I think nobody cares too much about them. But he's one of their best defensive players. I don't know why they wouldn't want to re-sign him. And he's only 27. So
Doesn't make sense. Something's not adding up.
I didn't write a note down for this.
clearly.
Whatever. It'll be all right. Let's move on.
This is just another reason for me to bring up Atlanta blew a 28-3 lead
Exactly.
in the Super Bowl. And Vic Beasley was on that team. So do you really want him on your team?
Shuffle over to
Speaking of, there was some moves yesterday before we go to Athletes Corner. The Red Sox traded Mookie Betts and AJ Price.
Right.
They're the only two. So the Red Sox, it's Black History Month. They've traded 2 black players and their Puerto Rican manager is gone. So
That's something to be mad about.
but I don't get why they traded. I don't get why they didn't want to re-sign him.
I'm not sure. Because Betts, he's doing everything he can. He's only 27 years old. Last year, he won the 2018 MVP. He's shown that he could play this game. It's an interesting time of why they're doing it, because especially last year, their whole motto was, you can never rest. Well, it sounds like you're resting, and it sounds like you're giving up your 2020 season.
This makes I'm really confused as why they didn't want to pay him, because isn't the name of sports to pay your best players? He was their best player all last season. I don't know, man.
There got to be something behind closed doors, because he was the man. I don't understand how you trade the man on your team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Even David Price too. I mean, there's a lot of David Price critics, but he did well for the Red Sox, especially their World Series year.
This is definitely a red flag,
Hey.
and I don't know if the Red Sox is going to be able to pull through after this.
Do they even have a manager? Have they hired a new manager?
That's a good question.
I'm not sure. I don't remember. I didn't look that up when we talked about this. I don't know. There's a lot happening with the 2020 Red Sox season, and this is not a good way to start. I know they sent the Chuck down to Fort Myers. Spring training is coming up soon, but yeah, this isn't a good look. I don't like how they did this. I don't like it. I think I was saying they should have just signed him. I mean, you ain't no salary cap. Give him the money.
They ain't want to pay him.
Clearly.
That's another thing, yeah. Looking at how much the contract was, that could be another possibility.
Hey, they have no salary cap. Give the man the money.
And when you play and you show how much you're worth, you deserve to get that bread.
And I'm seeing, especially when you see all these other guys getting these crazy contracts, and like, come on, man, come on. I'm looking at who they have now. Yeah.
Maybe he'll be happy at the Dodgers.
Hey,
Maybe.
you're 27. You're going to L.A. They might give you a big contract.
I'm saying, maybe it's a better fit. And good for Betts.
It'd be good for him for a lot of reasons.
Right.
He ain't got to deal with the snow no more, at least. So a lot more endorsements out there in L.A. So hey, well, we're gonna go to Athletes Corner before I go in on the Red Sox again, but we'll save that for baseball season. Athletes Corner. Oh, some baseball. These are our first baseball guests that we've had on this program. So they're from the Dugout. They all go to different high schools, but they're over there at the Dugout. The Dugout's on Linden Street, training them. Julio is, trying to bring in a new breed of baseball players the way he's training those kids. Ooh, I was there a couple weeks. He got them kids working. So check this out, the Dugout. Them kids be over there dying. He be having... Welcome to another edition of After the Whistle. Clearly, instructions wasn't followed. We have the Dugout here. They are here. This is the first baseball folks we've had on the program. So, congrats to you guys being the first. So, I'm not gonna say all your names. You guys introduce yourselves. You guys, that's your camera. Y'all, that's y'all camera. So we start from here. You guys go ahead and introduce yourselves.
My name is Anthony Mateo.
My name is Lucas Rincon.
My name is Emily Rodriguez.
I'm Jordan Enriquez.
I'm Will Shane.
All right, and we're here. So, we're gonna talk the Dugout. So, guys, each of you first, just tell me how you guys got involved with the Dugout, and so what are some of the things that the Dugout has done for you guys, or just does for the community?
Well, I was driving by, and my dad happened to see the Dugout, and we went up to see how it was, and he welcomed me, it wasn't like I was just like other places, but it brought me a lot of good things, like traveling, getting out there, putting my name out there to colleges, so it done a lot of good things for me.
Nice.
So I've been with Julio since I was 11. I was with him when I was 11, but I left to go to another organization for a little while. After I found that where I was playing it wasn't going to work out, I called up Julio again to see if he would let me back in, and he let me back in. So I've been there for 2 years now since it's open.
I live like a street down or two, and like me and my dad, we saw that there was a baseball place opening up, so then we went to go check it out, see if they had softball, and and yeah, it's helped me improve a lot in different areas.
It's the happy guy over here. This guy's not happy.
All right, so the owner is my father, so I was kind of into it.
Well, that's a good way to get into it.
Yeah.
I worked with a scout named Joel who works with the Dugout, and then he invited me to the Dugout, and then I went to the Dugout. It wasn't like fully renovated yet. Like they didn't have all like downstairs, and then I met you, who went to a school that I've been trying to go to, and then we just.
So y'all just vibes. So,
Yeah.
Tell me some of the stuff that you guys do over there. What are some of the workouts that you guys do? I was there for like the past couple of weeks. I seen the torture on y'all faces, the struggle. But just tell me, because it seemed like some of those workouts. I don't think some of the kids, some of the folks there didn't realize that this happens in baseball. This type of training goes on in baseball. It seems like it was some kids were shell shocked, and some that this was their first time doing routines like that. Can you guys talk about that?
Some kids just think it's like we just throw and hit the ball and catch, but there's more to that, so injuries won't happen while you're playing the game.
Yeah.
So you gotta like stay in shape and do all the physical stuff,
Did he kind of go to the basics with everybody? Just maybe some people are more advanced than others, but did he start off with just the basics with everybody, or is it depending on the skill level? You shaking your head now.
No, or at least for me, like I joined my first one, and then he didn't really hold back. Like he just pushed me, which is always good, because then you don't want to be taught like a baby.
Yeah.
Which is why it's called Manimal.
Yeah. And what are some things that you all have learned about yourselves during this, as you guys get ready? School baseball season for the schools is coming up. As you guys get ready, what have you guys learned about yourselves?
It teaches you how to be like focused and how to multitask and know your priorities. Just like, it gets you like mentally strong as well as physically. So.
Yeah. Talk about the travel. I understand some of you guys were all you guys in Florida, or a few of you?
I was in Florida, and them too.
Tell me about that experience playing against some of the other competition there. And he said there was also scouts there, baseball scouts looking at you guys. So tell me about that.
For me, it was a really good experience seeing how those kids down south play baseball. They play a different brand of baseball compared to the people up here up north. They play they play quicker than us, and they throw harder than us because they practice all year long. So like the competition down there was harder than what you'll see up here.
How do you guys think you did? You fared against that competition?
I think we did pretty well, but we could have done better though.
Yeah.
They did pretty good.
You did. What were you doing? Got a free vacation?
Basically. I mean, I played down there too, but it wasn't for them.
Yeah. All right. Julio also stressed education. And he said, when I talked to him, he said, if you don't do your work, you can't participate.
Yes.
So tell me some of the education goals that you guys have, because I know a lot of you guys trying to get into college, go get an education and maybe go pro. Tell me about that.
Once everybody get honor roll.
Is everybody getting honor roll?
I have honor roll.
You have honor. I didn't hear nothing over here. I didn't hear nothing over here about honor roll.
Yeah, them too. Them too.
Okay. Just I gotta make sure. Gotta make sure. How you guys getting ready for the season? The season coming up. I know you went to English. You guys had a pretty good season last year.
Oof. Yeah.
But
was-
what happened? Tell me.
You gotta mention.
What happened? What happened? I was paying attention. What happened?
Malden Catholic beat us, what was it, 10-1, something like that. First round of the playoffs.
Yeah, it wasn't your best outing? Was that your first year in the tournament, or?
Yeah. Well, my first year.
Your first year?
Yeah, I was a freshman.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you took a lot from that?
Yeah.
Okay.
But we'll be back.
I know. Did somebody here win a state title?
Yeah.
I heard. That's what I heard. I heard someone here win a state title with St. Mary's. Tell me about that experience.
Well, it was crazy because we all worked as a team. No matter where you played, everyone contributed and helped the team out. No matter if you were on the bench, everyone was cheering on the team. The players on the bench wouldn't let nobody get down, and the players that were playing would keep motivating each other. They keep on playing harder and harder because the tournaments are hard. We only won one game. Every single game we won by one besides one. So it was a very hard. It was hard, but it was fun at the end, just celebrating.
Yeah. I mean, hey, anytime you get a state championship, that's a goal. How about you?
We won states, but for my city league, yeah. We won states, and then we were in the regional tournament, and then we lost in semifinals.
All right. So how you guys gonna do to get a state championship? Because he can't be the only one with the state championship ring, because he's gonna be bragging.
I won a state championship when I was 10.
Okay. How old are you now?
I'm 13, so 3 years ago.
Well, okay. There's two people with state championship. Y'all can't let them be the only one. Yeah. Come on now. At least say. All right. The Dugout. If people want to join, if people want to go, tell them where the address is, where it's located.
I got you. 72 Linden Street.
71.
71 Linden Street.
71 Linden Street.
71 Linden Street.
Go on Instagram too if you guys have it.
The Dugout LLC. Also, you go down the line. Everybody plug their social medias.
Oh, wow.
We can start down the line. I can plug it. Start with you.
Anthony_Mateo5.
Rincon_, period.
Emily Jean _.
J Jordan H7.
Will_Shaheen. SHAHEEN. So no one has to spell my last name.
And there you have it. Oh, last question. Who's the best baseball player right here? Who's the best one?
Right here.
Oh,
I'll admit.
We play baseball.
well,
13.
I mean, you can still be better.
I'm 13. I can't
Well, she's the best softball player out here, so I mean, this guy's pretty confident.
Who has
It
more home
just
runs?
depends.
Who has more home runs? Who has the most home runs?
Me.
How many you got?
I had 10 last year.
God damn.
Well,
Yeah, but she's playing on a little field
It's-
though.
hey,
It just depends.
It's soft.
It just
hey,
depends.
hey, she got 10. Nobody hit 10.
It just depends.
Wait, in baseball, who has the most home runs though?
We gotta get out of here. Well, we're gonna argue off when we go off. But I want to thank them for coming. Come back anytime, and working on something for them. It should be out pretty soon, so be on the lookout for that little mini thing I'm working on. So we're out of here. Thank you guys for coming once again, and good luck with baseball season.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we out of here. Shout out to the folks at the Dugout. Thank you for that. I'm working on I'm working on a little project with them, so that should be out a couple weeks or so. Yeah. All right, we back to more important things, not this Meek Mill, Nicki Minaj Twitter war going on. Quickly, NCAA football. Mike D'Antonio, he stepped down as head coach of Michigan State, and it's all interesting. The circumstances of why he stepped down. Number one, he stepped down after January 15th. He got a little pay raise after that. I think like $4.6 million or something like that if he was still head coach after that date. And then he steps down now, and then there was some violations. Apparently, he said that's not the reason for him stepping down, but it's just interesting time for him to step down. It's all,
I heard about it. I don't even know everything that went into it. I just know a lot of people looking at him kind of crazy for why he stepped down, but who knows?
Yeah, it's
And there's a lawsuit filed against him right now.
yeah.
So that's most likely another factor that goes into also this. And they're seeking more than $5 million.
Yeah, it's
So.
interesting set of circumstances for him to retire, but he's still going to have a role in the athletic department. Sometimes I don't get when coaches do that. If you're going to step down and step away, just go away. Take whatever they're going to pay you and just...
So he going to step down. He going to get sued from the school, but he's still going to work at the school?
Not the school.
Or
The
he's
school
going to
is
sue somebody else, an outside party. But
Yeah,
he's still
by a
gonna work with
former
this. All right.
Spartans staffer, Curtis Blackwell.
Yeah, so very, very interesting. We'll see what comes of this. But yeah, it was just interesting. I was just like, okay. But I mean, if I step down from a position, I'm not going to stick around the company or organization. I'm like, I'm out. Bye.
I think he's only staying around because he got a big check.
There's been a lot of scandals with Michigan State the past few years. So this is not the best look for him. All right. The NBA. Before we talk about All-Stars reserves, let's talk about the 4-team trade that happened yesterday. The trade deadline is tomorrow, so there's going to be more NBA trade news happening when we go off air because a lot of the big news happens after we go off air for some reason. I don't know why that is, but Houston is going to play small ball for the rest of the season. They traded away Capella. They got Robert Covington and
Jordan Bell.
Very interesting trade to me. I don't know how it's going to help them in the long run. I know they're saying they were 10-1 without Capella. That's great and all, but Capella's the only big you had.
Only defensive guy, too.
Right.
And how are you going to compete with L.A. or the Clippers? I mean, L.A. Clippers or the Lakers. How are you going to compete with them? Because they have size.
Yeah.
Unless they're going to do run and gun.
I think that's the plan.
Old YMCA Wildcats.
Yeah, I think that's the idea. Yeah, so Capella, he's going to the Atlanta Hawks, and also in the trade, the Nuggets they moved Malik Beasley and forward Juan Hernan Gomez to Houston, I believe, and the Timberwolves are part of this too. They received what the Timberwolves get. Timberwolves acquire Evan Turner and Jared Vanderbilt. Mm-hmm. Denver acquires Shabazz Napier, Massachusetts' own. Some guy I don't know. Noah Vonleh and
another mass product.
And Gerald Green will be going to Denver. Atlanta, they acquire with Capella. They get Nene. I didn't know who Nene was still in the league.
Yo, I forgot his last name until I read it. That's how long he's been around.
And also, Atlanta is waiving Chandler Parsons, who I always forget he's still in the league, and he's got a $25 million contract. That guy hasn't played significant minutes in years, and also his career is on the line right now because of he was hit by a drunk driver, I think, last month or 2 months ago. So, even though he hasn't stepped foot on the court. And also, the Warriors are looking to shop D'Angelo Russell, and it looks like Minnesota's interested, and they're offering Andrew Wiggins. which is kind of interesting because the Timberwolves could have drafted Russell before they did Andrew Wiggins in that 2013 draft, which is interesting considering what the people were saying about each player going into that draft, and now we come full circle, and Andrew Wiggins is pretty much a bust. And Russell, I mean, he's turned out to be a good player. He just needs a solid home. He's a solid team.
I heard the Knicks were also looking at him too.
Yeah.
Hard.
Yeah, the Knicks too.
And I think he might like going back to New York. I don't think he wants to play for the Knicks, but you know, the New York atmosphere is always going to be New York.
Yeah, so
The people.
And your brand and
everything.
stuff.
yeah, it's interesting. So all these trade moves is happening. Uncertainty happening in Philadelphia. There's turmoil with the Sixers. You know, Al Horford. It seems like what was happening with the Celtics last year is happening over there, down there in Philadelphia. And that's what Al Horford gets for leaving the Celtics. Yeah, I said it. Forget him. He could kick rocks too. Yeah, that's our NBA update and All-Star reserves. So forget All-Star reserves. I'm just going to talk. How's Jaylen Brown not an All-Star, and how is Devin Booker not an All-Star?
And we talked about this last show. That sometimes they just don't make the cut, and it doesn't mean that they're not good or they can't be an all-star.
I mean, if you got Trae Young on the All-Star team, Devin Booker needs to be on the All-Star team.
I'll agree with you with Devin Booker. I know you're a Jaylen Brown fan, but he needs another year to do that to be on the All-Star team. Not going to get 3.
I just think he's played better than Pascal Siakam. I think he's played better than Bam Adebayo, but I don't.
But question, those are different positions. He ain't played better than Bill. He ain't played better than Zach. And so.
I mean, Bill's putting up those numbers on a bad team.
It don't matter though. He ain't. Yo, at some point, some players on bad teams, they score so crazy, you have to put them on the All-Star team. Don't matter. They're still one of the better players in the league.
Well, I'm taking out Kyle Lowry, I'm taking out Pascal Siakam, and I'm taking out Adebayo because I think Jaylen Brown's having a better season with them. And those guys miss a whole bunch of games. And All-Star, I'm not interested in this year's All-Star game at all because I just saw the lineup for the dunk contest, and I'm just like, what are we doing here?
But you're still going to tune in?
No, probably not because I'm probably false.
My whole thing is, though, there's been so many players that have great years that didn't get their All-Star due until a second or third year later. So Jaylen Brown needs to go through that same progression.
I don't think so.
This is his first good year ever in the league.
This is his first time he's got starters minutes.
What about Tatum, though? Tatum's been killing, and he's finally got his All-Star due. His second, third year.
Hey, I think the Celtics should have had 3 players in the All-Star game because those 3 guys, Tatum, Walker, and Brown, they've been playing ball. They've been balling. That's my opinion. Because I know Pascal Siakam.
Different position, brother.
I mean, they're using the same type of way.
Different position. When you look on paper, power forward, small forward, or shooting guard. It's just how it goes, bro.
Siakam is a small forward in this one.
Jaylen Brown to grow, and then he beat Siakam.
Siakam's a small forward in this one.
And Brown's like small forward shooting guard.
Hey,
between them,
Siakam.
Taller.
I don't think Siakam should have been an All-Star this year. I don't think so.
He's the best player they got.
I mean, he plays like every other game.
Hey, it is what it is, bro. Tell Jaylen next year he'll be all right.
He'll probably get screwed again next year. It's not certain.
Hey, we can't say
Hey,
that.
if he puts that same production next year with a couple extra buckets, because he's only averaging 20, he'll be all right.
No, I agree with you, Todd.
Yeah. I don't think so. I don't have faith in none of these voting because Devin Booker should be on there, and he's still, he's still waiting. NCAA. Last night, Duke and these guys played. It looked good. The game looked good for a while, and then Boston College reverted back to being Boston College and not able to score in the zone. So,
right.
Yeah, here's post-game Coach K, Jim Christian, all that. Can you talk about how your young guys will handle all of this adversity on the road as they played?
No, they have a lot of adversity with me because they didn't listen to me. So they're in trouble with me, and that's the main adversity they have because it's stupid not to listen. It's stupid not to listen, and I've warned them for 2 days about it, and I knew. Yeah, I've watched their recent games. They've been playing great, not good. This guy's a good coach, man. These kids play their butts off, and I thought they did that even better than what I've seen in the last 3 games. They took it up a notch. They were very good tonight. they were certainly deserving of winning. We were fortunate.
What did you guys do defensively in the first half that really frustrated them from getting anything going?
We didn't do anything different than we normally do. We really, we were very active. We got our hands on a lot of balls. We didn't give easy shots. We did a great job in transition for the most part, matching up, not giving them that. So I think, the things you have to do to beat them. I mean, I thought we really did. We did everything you're supposed to do to beat them. We just didn't finish plays that we normally make. We probably had 4 balls stripped out of our hands right in front of the rim, where the ball's not high, that we emphasized. Probably happened 4 times. That's huge. We ran a backdoor underneath out of bounds play. We lost the ball. We just didn't finish plays. We didn't make open 3-point shots. But effort-wise, execution-wise, except for that stretch, we did everything you could do to win the game.
Yeah, that was a very interesting game. It was a packed house. I was sitting behind some crazy fans. So
Duke.
No. These are some crazy Boston College fans. So
BC and Duke. It's a hot game.
So Grant Williams was like 2 rows behind me. He's just there trying to watch a basketball game, and these guys keep heckling him for no reason. Just keep screaming his name, shouting at him, trying to get his attention, and he's paying them no mind. And they were just going crazy, out of control. Then one is calling him a coward, and I'm just looking at him like, yo. And then these fools, after the game, they try to go get a picture with him.
Yo, I love being from New England, but we have some of the worst fans in the world. The most annoying people, bro. They just don't know how to act.
Oh, they were ridiculous. And I'm looking at him trying to asking him for a picture. I'm like, you think this dude's gonna take a picture with y'all? Like, he didn't hear all the craziness y'all was saying to him.
Dog, worst fans in the world, bro.
Oh my goodness.
Does
but
not make sense.
Yeah, but it was a packed house. That was the second packed house game that they've had. But BC, they need shooters. They had a lot of open shots. They were driving and kicking. They had multiple open shots, and they just couldn't knock it down. I think both teams were a combined 3 for like 20-something or 30 from 3-point line.
Yeah,
Nobody.
I think it was like 2.
Yeah, something like that. Trey Jones did a good job of closing out the game because BC went up 47-43 with about 5-6 minutes left, and then Duke went on a 20-8 run to close the game, and Trey Jones had a lot of big buckets.
And surprisingly, BC out-rebound Duke.
Yeah, even the coach was surprised.
Oh, all right. Man.
Yeah, he said in the press conference, we haven't out-rebounded anybody. This is the first time we've out-rebounded somebody.
And it was Duke.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, so, I mean, hey, keep on building, BC. Y'all need some shooters, though. Y'all need to recruit some shooters. Come to Lynn. We got some. Super Bowl top 10 plays. Then we got a few highlights, and then we're going to wrap this show up. So, top 10 Super Bowl plays. All right. I was at a middle school game the other day. Thurgood Marshall against Swampscott. Check these highlights out. Some of those kids aren't bad.
Talk at a 3.
That was a good game. Some of those kids got game. All right, last one. This is from Friday. Lynn English versus Winthrop. It was, woo, hoo, 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 that game. Woo. Last one, and then we out of here. All right, we are back. All right, guys. Lynn English girls, what's it looking like for you guys?
We play tomorrow. We play Friday at 7. I think Salem.
We out of here. Whatever happened, we out of here. See you guys next week. I think we're gonna do our little Valentine's Day update next week.
Oh, yeah.
Suggestions.
My daughter gonna get ready.
Woo, woo.
People call in and have a question.